Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's Labor Party has gone back to the drawing board at its annual state conference following a disastrous federal election campaign. Our political reporter Michelle Wisby joins us live now from Burnie. Good evening, Michelle. What have we learnt about the party's future plans?
Rachel, today hundreds of the party faithful voted on a new set of key policies as they worked out just what they want to focus on moving forward. Today we heard federal Labor back Rebecca White as the party's state leader, promoting her as Tasmania's next Premier. While the new federal boss Anthony Albanese skipped the conference, his colleague Jim Chalmers flew in from Queensland to call for a shake-up in the nation's finances. He wants a quicker rollout of Tasmania's key infrastructure projects, including the long-talked-about Bridgewater Bridge. It was a day filled with debate and policy reset. Let's take a closer look now at how it all unfolded. Tasmania's most faithful Labor followers gathering for their annual conference. MP Jim Chalmers sent in the place of the federal leader, using his keynote address to call for an infrastructure overhaul.
First, the government should bring forward infrastructure spending, including upgrading the Bass Highway, replacing the Bridgewater Bridge and upgrading the Hobart to Sorell Highway corridor.
Pushing the government to increase Newstart and for greater budget transparency. It comes after May's federal election failure, going back to the drawing board to work out what's next.
We are concerned that we lost 3 members at the last federal election, and we're going to learn from that, and we're going to listen to the local community.
We want to listen and learn from what happened on the 18th of May. That means getting around to as many communities as we can to listen directly to what people are saying about our approach in 2019.
The federal MP backing state leader Rebecca White as our next Premier.
Rebecca White, who will be the next Premier of Tasmania, but not just that, she'll be an amazing Premier of Tasmania and provide the kind of leadership that a state like this desperately needs.
Across the day, members voted for better health care for first responders, free health clinics in schools and a parliamentary inquiry into maternity services. Also paying an emotional tribute to the late Prime Minister Bob Hawke. As the party rebuilds, Rebecca White will speak tomorrow. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A 24-year-old man has been charged after allegedly holding up a Hobart bottle shop overnight. It's alleged he entered the Beltana Hotel Bottle-O just after 9 p.m, armed with a knife. He's alleged to have threatened a staff member before fleeing the scene with money. Police arrested him a short time later. Anyone with information is being urged to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. It's been nearly 15 months since wild floods tore through Hobart, and the site for a major youth support group is finally getting back on its feet. Renovations have begun to patch up the building, which suffered devastation during the torrential storms.
This was the frightening weather that hit Hobart CBD in May last year. Torrents of water causing destruction throughout the city. The Youth Arts and Recreational Centre left severely damaged in the aftermath.
It's a second home to some of those young people and to some of our staff there. I have to admit, we had some tears at the time. The extent of the damage, it was really quite revolting and quite shocking.
But just over a year later, and renovations have now officially begun. The Hobart City Council investing $400,000 to rebuild the site.
This is a place that's well used. It provides a great, safe and secure place for young people to come and gather, to develop their skills, to develop their art, to develop their networks in a safe and caring environment.
Once we get back in, we'll allow young people to really modify the space themselves with some art walls and murals and just add their creative flair, because we think that really is important to have young people have a sense of ownership over that space.
Youth Arc runs programs for young Tasmanians, seeing up to 90 people on a daily basis. The group has since had to move into smaller venues, resulting in a decrease in participants.
In the current space, really we're very limited to what we're offering young people, and so we're seeing a lot smaller numbers that have been coming through. So it will hopefully go straight back to that high level workshop space.
The centre is expected to be up and running by January. Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
An environmental activist group has ramped up its public disruption by collapsing to the ground today in Hobart. The dramatic display follows protests held across the state earlier this month in a continued fight for climate action.
A sea of bodies flooding the bustling Elizabeth Street Mall as a morbid death scene takes shape. It's the second bold statement held in Tasmania by controversial global group Extinction Rebellion.
A theatrical flash mob and part sit-in, but yes, a die-in to reflect the fact that we're losing another species every 5 minutes, 200 species a day.
Some dressed as nurses and sprinkling healing petals over the dead. A powerful statement for many avid protesters.
We're here because we love this planet. We're fighting for life and for our children. I feel quite emotional about it because, as I said, this is about life and death. This means so much to me.
It follows similar action taken 3 weeks ago as Red Armies took over public spaces across the state.
We're aware that the ecological crisis has reached such a scale that the kind of action that needs to be taken needs to meet the scale of the problem.
And we certainly haven't seen the last of the disruptive movement.
We're going to escalate and continue to escalate until our government takes genuine action on this. And I don't know how far that'll go, but we're willing to get arrested if necessary.
Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
The state south today played host to a travelling roadshow educating people on mental health. Are You OK's Trust the Signs tour is aimed at encouraging locals to have faith in their instincts when they suspect someone they know needs help.
Helping start a conversation that could change someone's life. That's the ethos of the Are You OK Foundation.
What we're trying to raise awareness of is changes in that normal behaviour. So just something that tells you that's not quite right.
Their Trust the Signs roadshow is currently touring Tasmania, which has the second highest rate of suicide in the country. Its aim is for people to trust their gut instinct when they suspect a friend or family member needs help. They stopped in Fawcett today, bringing food, face painting for kids, and most importantly, a forum to talk.
We've got Are You OK crew and ambassadors. It's all about coming along and having a cuppa. We've got a cuppa corner, have a chat, have a conversation.
Speak Up, Stay Chatty founder Mitch McPherson knows the difference communication can make. He started his foundation after his younger brother took his own life 6 years ago.
You know when they're just off their game, so it's super important that when you see that slight change that you act on it.
This event is building up to National Are You OK Day, which is less than a fortnight away. However, organisers say it's important to be vigilant year-round.
Whilst it's important on the 12th of September, we recognise it. There's 364 other days across the year where you can make a difference.
Get the conversation started in local communities with local members who know what needs to happen.
If you or someone you know needs help, call Lifeline on 13 11 14. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Lauderdale has won a thriller in the TSL qualifying final. The Southern Bombers kept their nose in front to win by a kick against Glenorchy, while Launceston brushed aside Kingborough after bagging the first 6 goals of the game. But a second-term scare had the Tigers in with a chance. It was the Tigers' first final since joining the TSL, but it took until 10 minutes into the second term to register an opening goal. The second would come only a few minutes later, leading many to question whether a sleeping giant had finally woken. A beautiful passage of play from the backlines turned into a third straight goal, silencing the Windsor Park crowd, but it would be only a flash in an otherwise disappointing day for the finals debutants. Launceston was far too strong in front of goal, with the likes of Mitch Thorpe, Jay Blackberry and Dylan Riley contributing to the 55-point drubbing, ending the Tigers' season. Scores were much closer in the qualifying final at Blunston Arena. Jay Bowden and Clinton French were dominant up forward for Glenorchy, but Lauderdale spread between a number of targets to stay in the hunt. The lead changed often throughout the contest, but a strong last quarter from Lauderdale saw the side secure a 6-point victory, setting up a tantalising semi-final clash against North Launceston. While in the TSLW, Clarence defeated North Launceston in the semi-final. Clarence was in control of the contest from the outset, with Catherine Johnson booting 2 majors for the Roos in the 55 to 21 point win. In other local leagues around the state, Devonport has caused an upset in the first week of finals in the North West Football League. After trailing at three-quarter time, the Magpies charged to the front with a 6-goal final term. Burnie produced plenty of highlights in the entertaining contest at West Park, but Devonport snuck home by 2 goals to set up a clash with Wynyard next week. Burnie will play the winner of tomorrow's game between Ulverston and East Devonport. Elsewhere, Bridgnorth is through to the grand final in the NTFA's Premier Division. There was only a point in it at half-time before the floodgates opened for the Parrots, who kicked 5 goals straight in blustery conditions. Longford couldn't crack Bridgnorth's rock-solid defence. The Parrots by 30 points at the final siren. Longford must now play the winner of tomorrow's clash between Hillwood and Rochalee to keep its finals hopes alive. St Pat's will face Lilydale in the NTFA Division 1 decider after thumping reigning premiers the East Coast Swans at Invermay Park. The Swans were missing some of their big guns, including injured co-captain Pierce Robinson and suspended midfielder Michael Musica. After a tight opening term, St Pat's ran away with the contest, eventually doubling the Swans' score to win by 41 points. Next week will mark St Pat's first grand final since 2015. And there's been an enormous comeback in the Southern Football League. Minor Premier Dodgers Ferry was up by 4 goals at half-time in its semi-final clash before the Huonville Lions booted 11 goals to 2 in the third term. The Lions held on to the lead to run away 16-point winners. While Barry Hall was clearly missed at Cygnet, the Port was chasing Lindisfarne all day at Anzac Park. Lindisfarne completely dominated the contest, eventually winning by a whopping 146 points to set up a preliminary final showdown with Dodgers Ferry. Hobart Zebras have claimed the Women's Super League title for 2019 after a last-gasp victory over Olympia. The Warriors claimed the first goal of the match in the 53rd minute before the Zebras returned fire less than 10 minutes later. A second goal in extra time secured the win and the title for the Zebras. Well done.
Hello again. It was a relatively nice day for the last day of winter today. Hobart with a top of 18 degrees, 16 in Launceston and 14 in Devonport and Burnie. 20 was the state's high today, reached at Friendly Beach, 18 degrees in Strawn, 17 for Ouse after a frosty -4 start to the day, 17 also at Grove and King Island, 16 for Flinders and Maria Islands. The satellite shows low-level cloud over the north of the state, while high cloud moved across the west, north and south throughout the day. The band of high-level cloud extended from southern South Australia to southern Tasmania. There were mid to low-level clouds across southern WA and the rest of the country was mostly cloud-free. Tomorrow's chart shows a cold front crossing the state through the afternoon and evening. Another cold front crosses southwest WA, while a trough extends from South Australia to central WA. A high-pressure system sits over the rest of the country. If you're taking Dad boating for Father's Day, there will be northeast to northwesterly winds, 15 to 20 knots, grading to 20 to 30 knots about the west. Seas 1 to 2 metres, swells reaching 3 metres in the south during the morning, swells below a metre in the north and east. There is a strong wind warning current for western coastal waters from southeast Cape to Sandy Cape. The forecast for Sunday has showers developing across the south, north and west. Hobart 16, Richmond 17 and 15 for Ouse. 15 the top in Launceston, 14 for Devonport and 12 at Deloraine. Showers and 13 in Burnie and Strawn, 14 the top at Curry. Cloudy conditions on the east, 16 for St Helens and Whitemark, 17 at Swansea. Looking ahead this week, mostly sunny on the east coast on Monday with a few showers spreading west from Launceston. A mixed bag across the state on Tuesday with mild temperatures, and on Wednesday showers across most of the state with the exception of the east coast. Around the country tomorrow, showers for Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne, mostly sunny skies in Sydney and Brisbane, a sunny day with temps in the 30s for Darwin, Alice Springs and Broome. And right now it's 14 degrees and partly cloudy in Hobart, 11 and mostly clear in Launceston and 10 degrees in Devonport with partly cloudy conditions. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening and I'll see you tomorrow at 6. Bye for now.